Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you a notebook that you haven't seen yet, because this one is my travel journal for 2024, which is a work in progress. I only make spreads when I have free time so I can keep up with it, but first I'm going to show you these initial spreads so you know the vibe, and then we're going to work on the spreads for my first day in Paris last November. I went for a dark academia theme as usual, and I made the titles in this wine color that kinda matches the cover of the journal. And for the spreads, I made a cover spread, my dream travel destinations, the flags of the countries that I visited, my travel bucket list, a general packing list, and a cute quote to finish the spreads. Then I made spreads for my London and Edinburgh trip, and also my vacation on the Isle of San Miguel in Azores. But before we start, I'm going to have the help of these amazing colored pencils from Woomer. They kindly sent me these 72 colored pencils that come in this tin box. I really like the minimal design on the whole box, just the orange and the logo with the little kitten, it's just really cute. And it's not usual in the colored pencil world. I tend to see some art on the boxes, but I really like the minimal style. They come in these two layers, and at first sight they have a pretty good color range that's of course amazing to work with. And when I was putting the paper around the box away, I noticed that inside the paper was a color chart. And it blew my mind. Usually the color chart is inside the box on a separate piece of paper or cardstock, but this time it was in the packaging itself, which is honestly so smart because you can reutilize the packaging and not throw it away. So I cut the two parts so I could actually try the pencils on them, and the offcuts went for recycling. So let's start swatching these pencils, and even though the color chart is in white paper, the product description says that they work as well on brown or black paper, but I don't use them very often so I didn't bother swatching them. But if you want to see the results, the reviews are really good, so you can check them out. The pencil itself is really pretty actually. They have gold foiling with the name of the color and the logo as well. They have a very creamy texture. The lead is very soft, so I know it makes blending easier, and since the tip is 3.8 millimeters, it doesn't break easily. They also show you the level of light fastness, and you can see that on the barrel of the pencil, and it has the key in the color chart as well. So when the pencil has 5 symbols, that means they are extremely light fast. 4 symbols like this pencil here means good light fastness, 3 symbols is just light fast, 2 has limited light fastness, 1 is less light fast, and if it doesn't have any symbol it means it's not light fast. So if you are questioning what light fastness is, I'll answer it. These light fastness ratings from 0 to 5 measures a pencil's resistance to fading. So if they are extremely light fast, that means that they don't fade with the time as quickly as a pencil that has a level 3 of light fastness, for example. While we are swatching them, I'm going to tell you that if you want a set like this one, you can go to the link down below and also use the discount code here on the screen to get 12% off on your order. Also, this discount is only valid until May 15, so go as quickly as you can. I'll leave everything in the description box as per usual. I really like the vibrancy of the colors, the color variation is also really good, and if you don't know, I used to draw anime characters in colored pencils, and I mainly used Caran d'Ache pencils, and they were good, but sometimes they were a little too hard to work with, and I think these Woomer pencils are actually perfect to blend. I'm not going to do that in this video because first, I forgot. I forgot to include a blend test, and second, I wasn't very inspired to draw complicated things. I'm going to show here some of my works so that you can see that I actually did them. The swatching is done and the colors are really beautiful. If you want a good color selection and high quality pencils, go for Woomer because I was really impressed. I already heard about them, but I never tried them out, so I only have good things to say, and those are my honest thoughts. Now let's see how they work in my notebook pages. To separate each strip, I like to make a cover page, and I actually have been drawing the cover spread instead of making a collage as I normally do. And in the beginning, you could see that I did that in my London cover spread. I drew a bunch of London motifs like the Big Ben, the London Bridge, the Buckingham Guards as well, and I had so much fun, and it kind of matched the chaos that was that trip. But for this one, it was more chill, so I'm going to do a title and incorporate the Eiffel Tower in that. I was messing around with the idea of making the same thing that I did for London, but just with the Paris monuments. But I thought that maybe, since I'm already going to draw or put some photos of that monuments on the spreads, it would be kinda pointless. And then the idea of making just a title was better, but just the word Paris on a whole spread was a little boring. So I changed the I in Paris and I drew the Eiffel Tower in that place. And of course, the drawing is far from realistic, but I just wanted to draw and have fun. And one of those ways is drawing things that I like to draw and do some lettering, which is one of the things that I love doing on my journals. You can see my phone peeking through on the corner, and that's because I search inspiration photos on Pinterest and I just simplified the shapes to draw the Eiffel Tower. The lettering is one that I copied also from Pinterest. I don't know who the artist was, but it was on Etsy profile on Pinterest, so I'll just put the photo here. And you may be wondering why I'm making the outline in this deep red. Well, that's because when you're going to color in the shape, you're going to pass over this red, and that gives the layer above a warm undertone. And it also works for a cold undertone, but instead of red, I just do blue. In traditional artwork, at least the ones that I do, I tend to see better results when I do this red outline with a colored pencil and I color the shape with the alcohol markers. But I also do this for colored pencil artwork, so for me it works well in both situations. Then I just have to erase a little bit of the pigment with my knitter eraser and I can move on. Also, if you do the initial sketch in pencil like I do, it also helps erase the graphite so it doesn't smudge your colors. I wasn't sure what colors to choose for this, but since the vibe of this trip was more vintagey in terms of my outfits and also the places that I visited, of course, I decided to go with the browns. And I used this lighter brown to color the Eiffel Tower and a darker brown for the title, because I wanted the title to be the main focus as soon as you open this spread, and a darker or more punchy color helps it. I didn't really color everything neatly because I wanted to keep this cover spread more sketchy style, like if I just did it on the streets of Paris, instead of the more perfect drawing. That's why the coloring is not perfect. I still felt like it was a little unfinished, and I thought that maybe it was missing a darker outline, so I went with my brown fineliner that's a little bit darker than the actual pencil color, and on camera it looks like I'm doing nothing, but in real life it looks a lot better. After I did the brown outline, I decided that I wanted to bring some gold into the spread because I've been enjoying putting little gold star stickers on this travel journal that you're going to see later. So I didn't know if I wanted to use the Uniball Signo in gold or this one from Ohuhu, but since the Signo takes forever to dry, I decided that I could work with this one. With the sparkles on the page, we can move on to the first spread, and first I'm going to show you what I use for my spreads in this travel journal. First, I print a bunch of photos that I took on the trip, and I just size them all equally and print them on sticker paper so it's easier to stick them onto the page without glue. Then I also use some receipts from restaurants or some shops that I visited, also some train or metro tickets like these ones. And last but not least, I save all the ephemera that I can collect throughout the trip. Be there maps, tickets for the monuments, some pamphlets that they give you or you can take from the actual monuments. I take it all and then I just use parts of it, and what I don't use, if I want to keep it, I throw it in a box that I have with memory keeping stuff, or I throw it away. After I organize all my ephemera, photos, and all the other items by day, I go through my stationery stash to see what I think looks good together, just like I do for my themes in the bullet journal and reading journal. And some of them I use, others I don't. It's basically trial and error, because if I use everything that I take out onto my desk, the spreads would be chaos, so I just select some of it. The inspiration for my spreads comes from a fellow YouTuber named Abbey Sy that I follow, and I love all the spreads that she makes, and I have two of her books. This one, that's the art of the travel journal, and also the hand lettering A to Z. I'll leave both of them down below. You can see what I'm doing, so I don't think I have to explain it. I just play around with the stationery, so I'm going to talk about my trip instead. I do my spreads in chronological order, so I'm going to start on October 31st, my birthday. And this trip was really special for us because it was a birthday gift for both of us, since my birthday is on Halloween and hers is on November 15. That's pretty close. And we wanted to celebrate differently. And since one of my dream destinations was Paris, we decided that we could go there. So I went to work that morning, and after we went to have lunch together, me and my friend went to the airport because our flight was late afternoon. We arrived kinda late at the hotel because the airport was a bit far from Paris and we had to figure out the whole train situation. So, we arrive at the hotel, and instead of having to search for an open restaurant at that hour in the freezing cold, we tried to order some food to the hotel, but our cards didn't work, so we had to eat a pack of Oreos that we bought on the airport and share an expensive iced tea from a vending machine on the hotel. It was actually hilarious at the time, and we were so tired and hungry. So that was the first hiccup on the trip. We actually slept really well since we were really tired, but the next day was the first day in Paris, so we had to wake up pretty early to enjoy the most. I actually messed up the date on the spread because I was thinking about November 1st instead of October 31st, but that's okay. When I realized that, I covered it up with a piece of paper and put the right date on top. For this spread, I used some paper from a local store, some washi tapes, and this pre-cut PET tape from Anna from Journal Away. Her shop is Paper Monogatari. And to finish, I used the colored pencils to make a little title with the word bonjour to symbolize our arrival in Paris, and I put some stamps as well. And as usual, everything is linked down below. Let's move on to the first full day in Paris, and we started by going to the Palace of Versailles. I used the map that comes with the digital ticket and I just printed it. This day was really packed. Our trips always are because we want to see everything that we can with only 3 or 4 days. And sometimes the itinerary is a lot, but we enjoy it and we feel really accomplished by the end of the day. So, when we catch the train from Paris to Versailles, we actually didn't know that Versailles was on a different zone from the area where we catch the train, so our ticket was not valid and we had to pay a fine because of that. But it's okay, we live and we learn. Now let's talk about happier things, and I have to say that Versailles is amazing. Even though it was really foggy because it was 8 a.m., it was really breathtaking. All the gold in the gates and the details are incredible, and honestly, when I visit Paris again, I have to go there once more with more time to appreciate it. Sometimes I like to do these spreads without any text, so I just wrote Versailles Chateau on the side of the spread, the date, a couple washi tapes to keep it cohesive, and of course some sparkles. Still about Versailles, I wanted to put this Polaroid of me in the incredible Hall of Mirrors that was full of people, but I was still able to take a few pictures. I am in love with the architecture and all the details in the structure of the monument. I love the stairs, the marbles, the chandeliers, and that's why I love palaces and castles. I find it really interesting how they built these amazing buildings so long ago. I also really liked that I was able to see the statue of Joan of Arc because that's the story that I heard about since I was little, so of course I had to put it in here somewhere. And we only had the morning to spend in Versailles, so you couldn't really stop and appreciate everything calmly, but we passed through every room and the halls and the exhibitions of the palace, and before we left for lunch, we also went to see the garden, which was also really beautiful. Also, in the garden, I saw so many crows, and I didn't really expect to see so many of them, but they were also really pretty and incredible up close. Of course, I have many photos that I could put in the travel journal, but first, I don't have space for all of them, and second, I only put in here the ones that are special to me or the ones that I talk about in the text. The others are for my trip album. That's an album that I make for every trip, kinda like these viral ones, but I personalize all of it myself and I really like them. This next spread is a simple one that I make all the time because it's easy to do and a good way to incorporate the receipts in my spreads. This is the final spread that I'm going to make, because if I do all the spreads that I have to do to finish this trip on the travel journal, we are going to be here for 5 hours or maybe more. So after we had lunch in Versailles, we went back to Paris because we had a ticket for the second floor of the Eiffel Tower and I was so excited to go up. Besides seeing the Eiffel Tower, my dream was also going to the top, which we couldn't get a ticket for because they sold out immediately online. But honestly, it was for the best because it was really foggy and you couldn't see the top of the tower since it was surrounded by fog. So we still had a good time on the second floor. Plus, we went on the elevator with a tour guide that was explaining the history and some fun facts of the Eiffel Tower to the tourists, so I could listen as well, and it was so fun learning more about this incredible construction. After this, we visited the Hôtel des Invalides, then the Basilique of Sacré-Cœur, and we had dinner near the Moulin Rouge. And to finish this incredible first day, we went on a boat trip in the Seine River to see all the monuments at night. My pronunciation was awful, so I'm so sorry. But those are going to be part of the rest of the spreads that I still have to do, but that's for another time. And I still have to do 2 more days to finish this Paris trip, and I have to begin doing my Berlin and Brussels trip as well. After those, this travel journal is finished and I can start another one for 2025. And so it's time for the final flip through. I had so much fun doing this type of spreads since they are pretty much go with the flow and not much planning. My desk is in total chaos, as it usually is when I do collages, but honestly, it was worth it. I love how the spreads turned out, and I really like how I managed to include the colored pencils in the middle of the collages. It was a fun experiment. Also, let me know in the comments if you keep a travel journal or if you make a photo album or any memory keeping of some sort. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give a like and subscribe. And don't forget the discount link and discount code for Woomer if you also liked pencils. I wish you all a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I see you on the next one. Bye!